If I focus on just the ink number and getting the recognition, that's one thing. But the internal growth that we've gone through, the ability to grow a team, to develop VPs across the company, build infrastructure, outside business consulting. There's a lot of things I'm proud of, out buying a new building, and really looking at stuff beyond the number, because primarily I was just like, oh, we got to get the ink, we got to get the ink. It'd be 7 in a row. It's like, to make it 6 years in a row, less than 3% of the companies can ever say that. So really, really proud, more proud of the team behind it to push even faster. And we're doing stuff today with tech that I've never seen in any company I've been a part of for the last 30 years or so. So I'm really, really fortunate to have such a blessed and wonderful partnership with my business partner and childhood friend, Doug, and the executive team here at the company. That's what I'm most proud of.
Welcome to Grow Think Tank. This is the one and only place where you will get insight from the founders and the CEOs of the fastest growing privately held companies. I am the host. My name is Gene Hammett. I help leaders and their teams navigate the defining moments of their growth. Are you ready to grow?
Today we're going to talk about personal development. Personal development is not something that you read just to fix your flaws, but something you actually begin to live when you really understand what it is. It's about your evolution. It's about your journey of growth. And a lot of the things that a lot of people don't read, or they will kind of put their nose up at, is something that probably would give them some insight or reframing to allow them to grow beyond all of the challenges in front of them. When you think about personal development, hopefully you think about your own leadership and how you're growing as a leader. So today we talk about personal development as a leader. We're going to be having a special guest today. His name is Tony G. I have to think about how to pronounce his last name, but it's Grebmeier. So Tony is the co-founder of ShipOffers. They've been around since 2001. They've been on the Inc. list 6 times in a row, and they were most recently, the highest ranking they ever got was 588. This past year, they were in the 4,000s. But what I want you to think about today's conversation with Tony is about the importance of growing as a leader, about really facing the defining moments that you have. He shares a few of those. He opens up personally about some of the things that he struggled with and how it impacted his leadership. But then we talk about what did he do to actually overcome those challenges. And guess what? It's all about personal development. So when you think about this concept of personal development, hopefully you're not, putting your nose up at it or, saying, I don't have time for it, because your job is about growth. Your job is about growing yourself. And there is a famous Jim Rohn quote out there that is mentioned inside here. I will not repeat it today. I'll let Tony share it with you because it will help you if you don't know what it is. If you've probably heard it before. I say that with a smile. Well, now let's jump into this interview with Tony. Tony, how are you?
Man, I'm fantastic. Thanks so much for having me on the show.
Excited to have you here. We're going to talk about growth and leadership. Tony, I know that I've already introduced you to the audience, but I'd love for you to tell us a little bit about the company that you started almost 20 years ago, ShipOffers. What are you guys up to?
Well, we are a fulfillment specialist. We specialize in helping e-com and digital marketers in the health and wellness space. They find products in our catalog. You can white label them, and we'll ship them directly to your customers. We've been doing that, like you said, almost 20 years. Worldwide outfit, and have about 60 team members running around helping to make ship happen every day. Really help entrepreneurs with a dream to then find a solution to their dream and give them a product and specialize in really helping them to scale their world and their business.
There's quite a few people, founders I've talked to on the show that are related to e-commerce. I started in e-commerce probably around the same time as you. I was doing technology implementations in 1999. I remember the big conversation we had back then was, do you have pictures of your products? Do you have descriptions that normal people can read? And the answer was no across the board.
Yeah, the technology has come a long ways. It's funny because you talk about product descriptions and everything. That's kind of where we don't help people. We're not marketers. We're just people who have a product and a service. And so I'm grateful that I work with some amazing copywriters out there in the world that I can just say, hey, I've got this product. This is what I know it should do. Here's some information you can read. Can you help my customer to come up with some descriptions and some marketing angles around it? And that's what I love, is being a strategic partner. Really, I don't have to know it all. I just have to know what I do really, really well.
Well, I'm ready to get into this. You've been on a tear here. I was looking this up, doing some research. You guys were on the Inc. list 6 times. You were at 588. It's the highest rank. It gets harder and harder to keep the rankings going. You brought up the tier, the last tier of it this year at 4,893. But the real impressive part of that is 6 times in a row. What has that meant for you and the company to be able to have that kind of growth consistently?
Well, I love it. I'll be the first to tell you we didn't make it this year, so that was a good smirk on my face for a few minutes. Like, what? Like, we had a great year, and like you said, it's really difficult. And so I had to acknowledge all the other areas that I found growth. If I focus on just the Inc. number and getting the recognition, that's one thing. But the internal growth that we've gone through, the ability to grow a team, to develop VPs across the company, build infrastructure, outside business consulting. There's a lot of things I'm proud of, out buying a new building, and really looking at stuff beyond the number, because primarily I was just like, oh, we got to get the Inc. We got to get the Inc. It'd be 7 in a row. It's like, to make it 6 years in a row, less than 3% of the companies can ever say that. So really, really proud, more proud of the team behind it to push even faster. And we're doing stuff today with tech that I've never seen in any company I've been a part of for the last 30 years or so. So I'm really, really fortunate to have such a blessed and wonderful partnership with my business partner and childhood friend, Doug, and the executive team here at the company. That's what I'm most proud of. The Inc. was a good recognition and something I'll hopefully go start all over again next year. But right now I'm focused on the internal stuff. And that's what I love that we're here talking about today, to anybody listening, how they can get better in their company, is really working on the internal stuff.
Well, let's define what some of that internal stuff is. You had mentioned to me before we hit the recorder on the importance of professional growth as a leader. I know we're going to get into that a little bit later, but when you think about growing your team, what are the aspects or things that you look at, or the categories that you focus on?
I'm a people person. So the people that I have to have report to me, or I even have to report to, because I'm accountable for everything that goes on in this company, is making sure that their core value at who they are at the core is in alignment with Doug and my kind of values as well. I can tell you I love people, but people let me down. So I've had to show and learn to give grace. And that wasn't something that I was good at in my early days of being an owner, even an employee of another company. I was always quick to judge. I was like, man, didn't you see there was an opportunity? Why didn't you take it? And now today I've learned that, the best thing I can do is grace, give an example of how we could do that differently, and not talk about the past, but talk about the present opportunity, and then help them to see their future. And if that future is here, great. If that future isn't here, great. Because all my job is, as the CEO of ShipOffers, is to be a stepping stone for where you want to go in life. Let me just have you for the best years of your life, if that's what you can give me. So I ask every person I bring on board, can you give me the next 2 years of your life? Can you give me the next best 2 years of your life? And I'll make sure I give you the best 2 years of mine. And if we can see first and foremost an alignment there, I've had great success with people in our organization. Really, I got people here who have been 18 years, I've got people 13, 11, 7, and beyond. And that's what I really, really love, is when you help people to see your vision and give them a step to take, they'll shine every day.
I bet a lot of companies don't ask their employees when they're hiring a new person to give them 2 years. Why is it you started doing that? What's been the benefit to it as well?
I had somebody do it when I was in radio as an air personality. Like, hey, I want to dedicate my time, my energy to really develop you as an air personality. But I don't want to pour in my time if you're just going to go look for another job. And so I remove some of that wall that gets placed once a person gets a job. Some comfortability gets going. The person feels good. I've got a paycheck coming in. And I want to develop the deepest relationship that I can with who I'm empowering to lead my organization in their department. And so it's a beginning step of empowerment. And you talked about implement when you were talking about technology in the late 90s. I'm implementing a frame that they really get to see in the picture. They see themselves as a part of something that's growing. I don't ask anybody to come work for me. I ask every individual, come work with me, help me. This is where we're going. This is what I'd like to do. Do you see yourself doing that with us? And I think if you get that far in the interview process, I've only had 1 or 2 people I've screened personally that I've made a mistake, or I've been benefited by having them not see my vision and move on somewhere else. And so I really say it's helped over the last 19 years of really giving people a clear vision of what's possible.
Hold it for a second. Tony just said it's the beginning of empowerment. Well, what is empowerment to you? Empowerment is where you truly trust your employees and you're not going to micromanage them as they move forward. You know that they want to grow, they want to evolve, they want to work on themselves as well. And you are someone that can create that space for them to do that. Maybe it's the conversations you're having, maybe it's all of the things that you do by not doing the work for them or telling them what the next step is, or getting upset with them when they need to. Sometimes you've got to have the patience that really allows them to grow as an individual. When you empower someone, they have a feeling of ownership, and that translates into more loyalty, more creativity, and innovation inside the business. And if you do this across the company, you have a very powerful force that really is tied to your style of leadership. Back to the interview with Tony.
Well, you've talked about values many times. I want to go back to, I know you've probably updated them over the years. What's the pattern that you go about updating and creating values for the company?
Well, we're smack dab in the middle of a lot of change, and I think it's all for the word improvement, because we've seen and reached growth so fast that we stopped. We pulled not the momentum train e-brake, but we decided to really focus on three things this quarter and into the new year, which is people, systems, right, and software. Because those are the things that are sustainable, that if you get those things right, you can really shine and you can grow. And so I had to get back to like the core value. And for me, I said grace, but the real one is focus. What are you focused on as an organization? Where are you headed? What are you doing? How are you going to get there? And do you have the right things in place to help you? And when you're making money and the train's going fast down the track, you miss some things. And I don't want to have anything take us off the track. So now we said, hey, let's slow up. Let's look at our people. We got the right people here. Because, people will only take you so far in your organization until you have to make a decision to bring new people on board. Because not everybody here has ever been a 9-figure business owner, including myself. So I know that I only have so many people on the board that have taken our company to an 8-figure business. So now I'm saying to myself, all right, am I primed for that 9-figure? And so that was hiring a new business consultant who manages or is a part of multiple 9-figure businesses. So now I'm making sure I've got the right people helping to lead the leadership team and helping to give vision where I lack it, but I'm along for the ride on the momentum train and I don't want to get off as one of the owners. And so that's really been important, is making sure we have the right department structure and people in place. And then number two is, are systems strong enough to allow us the ability to grow? Where's the cracks? We feel it every single day. We're in the logistics and fulfillment business. We ship 100 line items of every single day, multiple SKUs, things going from here to, London, next day, going to Italy, France, going down to Atlanta, wherever they may be. It's just data coming in and data out. And what we realized is there's some corrupt data in your system. There's just some things that got entered wrong in the beginning that has caused you some pain, and you've given some credits, you've done some stuff wrong. So how do you improve your systems, and what does that look like? So from the top down, we're improving all lines of communication in our company to make sure our systems are point on just where they really need to be. And then the software was something that I also saw that was just not right. We just had some things that I just didn't feel was strong enough for our company to get to the next level. And so now we're going out and getting, in my opinion, some of the best equipment, the best technology that we can bring on board to help our company scale. You have my vision. In 4 years, I'd like to have 2 or 3 locations around the United States and start exploring the idea of moving one internationally. With Amazon being out there, everybody now snaps their fingers and says, where's my shipment? And that has really created some things, bottlenecks in our system, because people rely on speed. And so I want to deliver with the greatest technology. I want to have the right systems in place, and I want to make sure the right people are on board to help everybody win.
I'm going to break in here for a moment. If you happen to be listening on YouTube, we're trying to increase our reach inside this channel. If you want to continue to be a better leader, be more visionary, be strategic, then make sure you subscribe right now to our channel. When you think about leadership, you think about growth, make sure you think of Growth Think Tank. We want to help you continue to be the leader that your team craves. Back to the interview.
Well, we're going to focus on the people side of this. when you talk about values, what are the things that we would see in your organization from day to day that allow you to really keep everyone aligned around the right values?
I think people have to have fun. That's a big value for me. I talk about growth. It stands for grateful, real, open-minded, willingness, teachable, and happy. And I want you to be happy. If you're not happy here, you're probably not happy in your personal life. So I always tell people, when you walk through the front door, bring who you are. Don't try to be somebody you're not. So if you're having a bad day at home, bring that here. Meet with somebody on your team. Let's figure out what we can do to support you. If you need to talk to HR, whatever it may be, go do it. Let's get your head screwed on straight so then you can go deliver greatness for our customers who are counting on you to show up. So we talk about being open and just being really real about your life. Now, some people may say, I don't want to know about their personal life. I'm telling you this, you're not dealing with it. It's going to be dealt with in your company on their text, their attitude. They're going to be on their phone all day. They're going to be really bummed. They're going to be short and snippet with people around them. So we got to cut that stuff off right away. I'm also a really big believer in just saying, hey, go take a walk. Go outside and just take a 5-10 minute walk. Clear your head. There may be nothing wrong here, but there's something wrong upstairs. And sometimes a little sunshine, a little quiet, a little refocus comes back, and they're prepped and ready to rock, and they have a great time. And that's been a real big emphasis for our birth of our company over the last 19 years. I'm people focused, and I love seeing people work on themselves. So I'm a big proponent of personal development. I love the quote from Jim Rohn, spend more time on yourself than you do on your job. If I get you better as a leader, as an individual in this company, you're going to be better when you're talking to a customer. You're going to be better when you're talking to your spouse or your relative or whoever it may be. You're going to have less frustration in your life. You're going to come back here ready to rock. I love Fridays and I love Mondays because they give you a chance to get what's in between your ears straight so you can come and have a little fun during the week. And then as you prepare, I love people talking about what they're doing, what they're up to. I know what every person on my VP board, what their goal is. And that was something that we made sure when we hire you, tell me something you're excited about. Tell me something that I can get behind when you're having an off day. I can lean on in you and go, hey, Courtney, so really, that's really important to you. Going to the mountains, having fun, riding mountain bikes, hanging with your kids. Have you done that recently? No, I've just been working a lot and I've just got a lot going on. And that's an opportunity for us to have a little conversation. So I'm a people person because I want people to relate to me and I need to relate to my people. And that really allows us to help one another to grow.
In this journey, Tony, of being the leader that you are today, you've probably been through a few defining moments, if you will. What is one or two of those that you could share with us that caused you to really shift the way you lead your people?
Well, I'm open with saying, on October 9, 2008, I almost wanted to end my life. I was, $1 million in debt, separated from my wife for almost 3 years, was making money in the company, working with my best friend, showing up every day, thought I had a great job, loved what I did, but I was empty inside. And that really was the beginning stages of finding my meaning, my purpose for how I show up personally and professionally. So it really helped me to get to the core that, hey, I have an addictive personality, and there's nothing wrong with having an addictive personality. Going to the gym and working out, that can be something that's very addictive to people, and they need it. And so I just realized I needed to transfer my energy from drinking and drugging to personal development and reading and spending time helping one another. And what I came of it is that I was able to fix my marriage. I was able to repair a business, friendship. I was able to get out of debt. I was able to turn a lot of things around by flipping the switch. And I realized I have no dimmer switch. I don't have an in-between. I'm either on or I'm off. And so I needed to surround myself, and I hired a really good coach along the way, Sean Stevenson, who passed a year ago or so. And Sean always told me, Tony, you need to figure out what your when life works list looks like. When your life is working great, what are the things that you're doing? Exercising, hydrating, getting good sleep, taking your vitamins, spending time with your family and your kids. Everybody can build their own list, but he says put down 14 things or so on a paper and then pick 4. Make sure you do 4 of those things every single day and your life will work. Because everybody knows when their life doesn't work. They already have that list built. So I started realizing I needed to focus on me, and so I turned my life around and I made a focus and an emphasis on not losing focus of what got me here where I'm at today. And every single day is a good day that I'm above ground and sober. So I know that the defining moment was on October 9, 2008. And since that day, every single day, I've made sure that I have meaning and purpose. I have a professional job. ShipOffers. That's my professional job. But I got to make sure I'm personally fulfilled as well. And that just gives me what I call be fulfilled. That's a fulfilled life, a fulfilled wife, a fulfilled family, and everything else in between just works. So when I'm on my game, I tell people, watch out, we're going places.
One more second here. Tony just talked about personal development. Now, this may be the books that you read, maybe the videos that you watch, maybe it's the time that you spend with meditation, maybe it's the time you spend talking to your advisors and your mentors. But here's the thing about personal development. It's not something that you should take lightly. In fact, I believe you should be very intentional about developing your own style of personal development. Now, for me, I love coaching. I love this. That's the reason why I became a coach, is because of the journey I was on as a leader wasn't on the right path. The coach that helped me align to that, I look back as such a powerful moment. That's the reason I became a coach, is so I could actually have those kind of conversations that allow people to reframe, look at new perspectives, get a deeper sense of commitment around what they're doing, take ownership for their own challenges and what they're creating in this world. And that's what I did. So when you think about your journey of personal development, don't just, dismiss it as something that you don't have time for. This is the job. Working on yourself is so important. You've got to make sure that you continue to do that. And it doesn't stop just because you hit 10 million or 100 million or even $1 billion. It's something that's always continuous. Back to the interview with Tony.
I love that you brought up Sean Stevenson, because he's been on the show before. He's such a deep individual, and that smile of his is it's just hard to forget that. He was in my book, and it's all about thinking bigger. And I remember distinctly writing about, the reason I'm writing about this from a guy who's about 3 foot tall, if you guys don't know who Sean Stevenson is, and what he's lived through and still had that smile on his face is impressive, and a testament to personal development because of how he sees the world. When you went through these moments of, cleaning up your addiction, repairing the relationship with your wife, what did you learn that made you a better leader?
So many things. Being humbled, to forgive, try to go to bed each night without resentment, turn it all over, let it all go. That's why I talk about grace was one of the first things we talked about on the show, is like, people are going to make mistakes. It's not what you did, it's what you do about it. Now that you know better, are you going to do better? These are just choices that you have to choose to make every single day. And once you realize that there's an opportunity for growth, just remember, someone's pulling for you to grow. And that's me, and trying to help you realize that no matter what you did, it's okay. We're going to get through it together. And I wasn't a part of a team growing up. My parents divorced when I was really, really young, and I fought for everything that I have today. I love my mom, love my dad, but they were busy working. And I built a lot of relationships over the years, and the one way I built those relationships was honest communication. And I got away with a lot growing up where I forgot about having honest communication. And that's why it's so important when people walk through the door, they're having an off day. Let's go have a conversation, friend to friend, person to person, human to human. And you know what? In a few minutes, I promise, whatever you're going through, it may not be fixed, but I know you'll feel a lot better knowing that you have support. And that has been one of the greatest keys to our success, is supporting one another as we grow.
Well, Tony, I really appreciate you being here on the podcast to share your journey of leadership, where you're focused, and how you're aligning to continuing the growth of the company.
Today, we talked about personal development and leadership. We talked about what impact that makes inside your teams. Your people actually deserve a leader that is developing and working on himself. If you're stagnant, then you really aren't serving your team the way you could be. I say that because I know what it's like to struggle all of the busyness that is going on in a business. I was there. I have created a new business for myself where I actually have time to step back. I have times for breaks in the day because I know I've got to manage my energy moving forward. But I think a lot of leaders don't know how to do that. Today, we talked about personal development for leadership, and I really want you to think about what that means for you. If you have some defining moments that you're facing right now, if you're not sure about how to move forward, then I might be the perfect person to have a conversation with. So reach out to me, gene@genehammett.com. When you think about leadership and you think about growth, make sure you think of Growth Think Tank. As always, lead with courage. We'll see you next time.